I'd be remiss if we did not officially introduce our guest today. We have Cindy Stavely, Executive Director of St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum in Colonial Quarter. And we also have Sergeant Mike Clark from the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. Welcome, guys. You guys have something really special to talk about today.
We do.
So what's going on tonight, Cindy?
Tonight at the Colonial Oak, we are having a fundraiser for the Sheriff's Department Re-Entry Program. There'll be live music, the Justin Parton Band, a good local country music band who actually has some records out. So they're a great band. We'll have some 50-50 drawings. We'll have some silent auction items. We'll have...
I heard your silent auction is nothing to sneeze about. Like, you've got some fancy pants things, right?
Hotel stays, Casa Monaco with a dinner.
Nice.
The Holiday Inn on US 1.
I think you know a guy.
Lots of restaurants and great things like that. So
fabulous.
And we will be doing all kinds of fun things there as well. But it's free to get in.
Okay.
There'll be a drink special that we're making. The distilleries donated us a bunch of vodka to make a drink special.
I love that.
And the way that we're raising the money, besides the silent auction and the 50-50s, is the Colonial Oak is donating all the proceeds from the bars to the fundraiser.
Oh, wow. And so, Sergeant Clark, talk to us really quick about what the actual fundraiser means. What is the Re-Entry Program?
So the re-entry we do from inside the jail, the sheriff asks us to go to an outreach program, which we go on the streets, go to homeless encampments, and try to offer the same service that we do for individuals that are incarcerated inside the jail. The difference is we can't fund those individuals out on the street like we can individuals inside the jail. So if we wanted to go up to somebody and provide a service like reunification, well, we can't buy a bus ticket to reunify them with their family, friends, any kind of support system on the other side, wherever their destination is. So this is what this fundraiser is about. It also funds things like bicycle boxes. They can take their bicycles on the bus because many of them won't leave without their bicycle.
Right. That's their property, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's all they have. And a lot of times they want to get, when they get to where they're going, they still need transportation. That's that bicycle. Even if it's $25, that's all they have to their name.
Right.
So this helps fund this, the way we can actually put them on the bus with their bicycle. Yeah. It also helps us provide if we need food and clothing. We do get some donations, but we don't get enough to provide. We're getting an average of 1 to 2 a day that's calling. And a lot of it's from like the St. Francis House. Cheryl at St. Francis House will call me, individuals that's come here, got stuck here. A lot of times relationships brought them here, and then they get homeless. And many of them are homeless for 2 years on our streets and on St. George Street, our encampments. And a lot of people don't understand that these encampments, even though they may be in the county, they go in and out. So they'll go to into town to Panhandle, they'll go to St. George Street, and they'll go back to their encampment, wherever that may be. And a lot of that intel I get from individuals that I'm actually reunifying when I'm going to the bus stop, I probably take 99% of them to the bus myself. And I talk to them to get this intel about where these encampments are. And then we go to those encampments. When they're in large groups like that, we can actually talk to them and offer our services, whether it be reunification, put them in transitional housing. We've actually had, we do work with co-responders now that we can actually say, hey, I've got a guy out here. Can you address him when it comes to substance abuse or mental health issues? So these are the things we're trying to address. This fundraiser is very important because that's what helps fund that portion of reentry, which is the outreach portion. So.
Right. And a lot of them travel. Like, when they get the bus pass, say if they get that, and like you were telling me earlier, you can give them a set of clothes, but they have 5 days of travel. So they're going to need more than just one set, right?
A lot of times we'll end up because a lot of times I'll give you an example. One person we put to California, he went back out there. He didn't have family or friends, but he did have an employer. We reached out to that employer. It was a body shop. And he was like, I asked him, hey, do you know who this was? Yeah. He said, yeah, he used to work with us. He was a great worker. I said, well, at that time, it was St. Johns County Jail. That was a different fund. But I'm giving you an example of others.
Sure, yeah.
So we actually put him on a bus to California. Wow. He's now working down at this body shop. The guy had an apartment above the body shop. He's living in the apartment, working in the body shop, and he's actually being pretty successful. But he was stuck here 2 years because he came here with a girlfriend. They broke up.
Here we go.
Right, exactly.
Before, yeah.
So that's a very, very common theme. So But that's about a 5-day trip because they stop, transfer, bus, and so forth. And he had a little bit of an alcohol addiction. So we were afraid that he might get off, but we wanted to try to give him every tool in the toolbox so he can utilize, so maybe he wouldn't. And he didn't. But that's because we did give him enough food. We gave him the stuff he wouldn't get desperate when he stopped at a bus stop because he's hungry or whatever. So this is what helps with the ones on the outreach on the street. So we have a lot of stories just like that we do on the street as well. And that's where these funds will come in, where we can actually purchase the food, we can purchase the clothing, and any other tools. But we actually reach out to a support system. A lot of people are like, oh, you just bust them out. No, we're not doing that. Because that's not going to solve anything. The old way of all counties just dropping off the next county, and that just doesn't, that's not effective. It's not an effective tool. So when we do this, we try to reach out to whatever support system on the other end. If they got a mom, I just picked up one that he'd been arrested 32 times here in St. Johns County.
32 times.
Right. Cost and it's very small stuff. It's open container or trespassing. So a few days here, a few days there. Still costs the taxpayers $53,000 to house them in the jail.
Right.
So the sheriff reached out to me and said, hey, there's these two guys. They're out there at the cemetery across from Target. Go out there and see if you can and help them out. So I went out there. One was the guy that I talked to who had been arrested 32 times. And I convinced him, after showing him I keep pictures of everybody I help getting on the bus, and I show them, so because they think I'm here for other reasons, not just to help them.
Right.
No, I'm here as an soft approach. I'm not here to arrest you. I'm here to help you. So I show him this book of all the people that I've helped, and I was able to convince him that to reach out to his mother in South Carolina. I had him on a bus in 40 minutes from talking to him at that cemetery. The other one that was there, I reached out to Justin, Epic, a co-responder for Epic, and had him go out there. He was on the field, go talk to him about getting him detox over the Epic Detox South.
So there is a detox angle to this too.
There is. That's a big thing. I mean, addiction's a huge thing. That's one of our biggest dilemmas. I mean, transportation, housing, substance abuse, mental health. These are all issues that we deal with daily.
Yeah.
And so we're going to get this individual, other individual, into detox, and he wants to go to Clearwater to be with his mom down there, but he wants to get clean before he goes down there because his mom doesn't want him there when he's in that situation. So.
And Troy, how do you think about this? Because you're like my specialist as far as going to about homeless services. Do you think that this is a great thing to get them up and out and on their feet again?
Well, the number one thing is having the one-to-one contact and treating everybody as an individual, because everybody's problems are, different. There's schizophrenia out there. There's mental health. There's addiction. There's just guys like, bad breakups and hit a deep depression situation. And those are the ones that we can help. Some of the ones with the schizophrenia is a little more challenging because the medication, when they start feeling good, they're like, oh, I don't need it anymore, because it does make them lethargic and it makes them, we got to do a better job on the medication that's associated with the schizophrenia, because it just doesn't make them feel good.
Right.
Even though it makes them better and more sane, it doesn't make them feel good.
Well, it changes their paradigm and what they're used to, right?
Exactly. But the most important thing that you guys are doing out there is that one-on-one contact and finding the right solution for this person, because everybody's solution is different. And a lot of people are like, oh, we're going to solve homeless. That's not going to happen. All right. It's just, it's
an isolated case.
Been president of Home Again, over 10 years now, and was president of St. Francis House for almost that same amount of time. So you're not going to solve it. You have to handle every individual by itself,
case by case,
and handle it with compassion and a human factor. And that's the most important level of success we're going to have out of this program.
I completely agree, Troy.
So Cindy, I mean, how important is it to the Downtown Business Coalition, the Re-Entry Program? You guys obviously saw something amazing about this program and you were like, let's rally, let's make this fundraiser. Where was that moment?
Well, it's because, once we found out about this, our main concern was, all the people on St. George Street, messing with the tourists and the school groups. And that was a real concern of ours, especially the school groups walking by and they were, not being talked to properly. So, and then, it just doesn't look good for downtown St. Augustine to have everybody down there sleeping, passed out in the middle of the street, whatever.
So you guys thought be proactive about this and give them a leg up with this new reentry program.
Exactly. And it's working. I mean, I've seen a big difference between this year and last year with how many are down on the streets. And I love, and the fact that they do this makes me want to go up and talk to these people one-on-one and give them his information.
Yeah.
Find out a little bit about their story and get his information, give them his information, and, let them know that there's somebody out here that can help you if you want the help.
Yeah, I like the narrative that there's actually somebody on the other. Go ahead.
And Davey, the Re-Entry Program is not a new program. It's been around a long time, but it's all in how the approach is made.
Okay.
And like Officer Mike, Deputy said, he goes up, he shows them the pictures, and it's that approach that creates the success. The Re-Entry programs existed for years and years and years, and it's been tried in a lot of different places. Like they said, take you to the end of the county. That's not going to work. You need to get them to a place they want to be first for them to have a level of success, and you have to learn that through the conversation. And it's got to be a challenge for you as a police officer. Because these guys have had so many bad interactions with officers, and it's got to be a little bit of a challenge with you approaching and making that happen.
It is. And a lot of it's because, and now some of these individuals I've known because they have come to jail and so forth, but we want to go with the soft approach first. So when we're doing this outreach, I keep a map of everybody I put on reunification program. Our red dots that we have on this map are from incarceration. So we've been doing that for about a year and a half, right? Because we had those funds and stuff. We haven't really started this outreach up until earlier this year. And we've already are starting to outpace with the outreach over reentry because with the blue, I use the blue dots as law enforcement, but I use these as the outreach. They're starting to outpace the ones we have in the jail. That's a good thing because that means less people are coming to jail first.
Right.
And that's saving the taxpayers money. It's helping these guys. Some of these guys, they don't need an arrest record when we can help them before they get that, because that turns out to be an endless spiral because they'll come to jail, then they get desperate, they start doing it again and again. It becomes a revolving door. If we can help them prior to that, that's a big step in the right direction.
I was going to ask you how it has been progressing over the years, and you're saying you're seeing an uptick on as far as...
Oh, man, just in the last 3 months, our outreach, that the ones we're getting right off the street, have more than tripled. And so that's really, we started with...
that's awesome.
Yeah, just because the word of mouth. We got the reunification cards we've handed out to our partners like St. Francis House and Flagler Behavioral Health and so forth. And we build these rapport and networks, and they call me and they're like, man, I've never had somebody just on pace right then, because we want to get it taken care of.
Yeah, you got to be proactive now.
Because otherwise, if we don't, they may either reoffend or offend for the first time out of desperation. People, they do things out of desperation sometimes. So if we can get them to that point prior to that, it saves the taxpayers money. It helps these people not get an arrest record. It cleans our streets up because we're actually saying, hey, we're getting you off the street. And it doesn't necessarily have to be reunification. Like I said, some people aren't going anywhere. Some people are from here. They don't have family or friends or support systems anywhere else. So those individuals, and like Troy was saying, we're never going to get rid of homelessness. But what you do is mitigate it. So you can at least reduce it to an amount that is something our resources can handle. But if they continue to grow and grow, another example is, as far as the reentry is concerned, is some people come into jail not homeless, but they leave homeless because they now they may be in jail for 7-8 months. They've lost their job, their family, their house. They've been evicted. Everything happens while they're in jail. So now they're homeless. Now we're adding to the homeless issue. So we're addressing that from inside the jail. We're addressing it on the streets with outreach. We're doing all this in combination. It needs the combination to be successful, in my opinion. And what I've seen, and we're going to be doing a little bit of research on why people, the ones that aren't from here, come to St. Augustine for whatever reasons. There are different reasons that people, they have, theories on why. We're going to try to do a little more research and actually talk to them on the way to reunification. And I've talked to some unofficially about it, and most of them say, well, I'm in Jacksonville, and it's not the officials there. It's the other homeless individuals telling them, hey, you come to St. Augustine, they got all the good services. Yeah. So there may be an aspect that we're going to do a little more research on that before I can speak on it. But
be cautious when you make that statement.
Yeah.
Okay. Because then people will deny the people that are trying to get, that's a statement that, we fight against a lot when you're in service.
Right.
Well, if we do that, they're going to come, and that's not in the history.
No, we don't believe that. I believe that obviously, if they're going to come either way, but if we can look at it at a different aspect and different ways to address it. So if there are situations that we are addressing it and way that say, okay, I don't believe it's all enabling it. Yeah. I'll give you an example. We've got an individual, I won't give his name, but he was down on St. George Street, and he goes around and he feeds the homeless, right? Okay. Well, that's not really helping the individual out, but it is feeding him. Okay. He's putting food in his mouth. So a lot of the individuals that I've talked to wanted me to address this guy and say, hey, tell this guy this is not working. You're just keeping him on the streets. So I invited this individual to one of our Operation New Hope graduations here at the Re-Entry Center, and I wanted to just get his take on what we do and what, how he would react to what I did. So we gave him a big tour, told him about reunification, transitional housing, all the programs we do, and he was like, wow, I didn't even know this even existed.
I didn't either. Yeah. I mean, for me, I felt like it's new. So.
Right, they didn't know it existed. So I wanted to see that. I said, okay, I've been told that, you feed people. And I said, I think that's great. You're doing what's in your heart.
True,
You're doing, because he's a minister as well, and so I said, you're doing what Jesus would do. I get that, I understand that, but we have to look at it a different take. So what I looked at a different perspective and said, let me, instead of trying to lecture this guy about enabling someone by feeding, because that's not the case. I mean, my dad goes to St. Francis House and feeds the homeless. Right. So I'm not against that at all. But what I wanted to do is utilize his service and say, so you're going out here, you've got this rapport with these guys. You've been feeding them for a year or more. You've talked to these guys. You know this. Let me give you a bunch of my cards. I said, when you're feeding them, keep feeding them, doing what you do, but let's help them as well. Now this guy, he's a minister. He's going to come volunteer in the jail even. So I got him clear to come talk in the jail. So utilize his services of feeding these individuals and say, hey, if you come across this guy that needs help, call me. I'll come out and talk to him.
You're just looking at a wider aperture. You're looking at the bigger picture.
So I don't think someone like that or any of the service are enabling it.
Right.
I think they're doing it out of the kindness of their heart. But let's combine that feeding them.
And just so I'm very clear on what my statement is money that goes to these associations. And what it is it's a financial driver that creates the issue that we have on St. George Street. Our number one offenders of giving money to the homeless are the fourth graders.
I know.
The fourth graders, they'll give up their lunch money to the homeless, doing the right thing in their heart. Yeah. But we have to come up with a program, save the change to make a change. Right. And basically what that is we create it where the money goes to an EPIC services, a Home Again, COC, St. Francis House, and then that money we know goes into the right location. It doesn't go to the last dollar this homeless person might have. With the way fentanyl and all the drug situation we have going on right now, you literally could give $5 to a homeless person that could end their life. Right. That's what happened on Holmes Boulevard. So the financial is the reason they're on St. George Street. If we can kind of curtail that into a positive position, we'd be in much better shape. And, and I love the one-on-one, the approach that you guys are taking, because that's making an individual difference every single time.
Sure, absolutely.
And we feed the homeless every single day with Dining with Dignity. And we use that as a tool to get to certain individuals we know we can help and kind of pull out of the crowd. So it's how the relationship with the outreach group. You say you have a relationship with St. Francis. They have an outreach group too. Are you in communication with those
all the
guys,
time?
The blue shirt guys?
Cool.
So they've called me numerous times to address usually reunification with them, because they do a lot of the other case management work for locals. And like I was telling Droz, it's what we do is we're just mitigating that so that the funds would be available and the help can be available for a smaller group. The larger it is, the less opportunity for us to help the individuals that aren't going anywhere. So they will call us about that reunification, and we address that immediately. But like I said, we have a relationship with a lot of these homeless individuals, because I won't say they don't all come to jail, but there's a large percentage that do. And the ones that we run into, my sheriff, every time there's a hurricane, there'll be a homeless, they go to a homeless shelter in one of the high schools, and the sheriff will send me out there to address. There'll be 70, 80 homeless individuals in the gymnasium. And I'll walk in there like a drill sergeant, loud and very articulate, and let them know that, hey, I'm here to help. And we'll get a list. The last one that we did 17 reunifications just in that one stop. two of the people, they call me my first name. They're like, "Hey, Mike!" I hear it across the gymnasium, and I see him, and I saw him, and I recognize him. Robert, hey man, and we'll talk and we'll catch up. Now he's not going to go anywhere. I've tried numerous times. He actually has a little bit of money from Social Security, but very little. I've tried to get him into housing, income-based housing and so forth like that. He just doesn't want it. He's nomadic. He wants to be in the woods. That's all. Yeah. You're going to have those individuals that there's not much you can do.
That's why it's important one-on-one. Right. That's why it's important one-on-one. I love it. So Cindy, tell us again what is going on tonight. It's what, 7 o'clock? Is
7 o'clock at the Colonial Oak, right there on St. George Street. Free admission. The more you drink, the more money we make.
Hey, a bad thing. Take an Uber.
I can't drink, unfortunately.
You can drink water.
But yeah, bring some, bring some money for 50-50 drawings and great silent auction items.
And the music again was what? Justin Lee?
Justin Parton Band.
Oh, no relation to Dolly. I wish.
He doesn't look like her, so no.
Geez, sorry. Still going to see Justin, though. That's pretty awesome. Very, very cool. So tonight, Colonial Oak, 7 to 10 p.m. I'm so appreciative of you guys showing up and showing out today. Thank you so much. You guys are doing amazing work. Thank you for the one-on-one. And I got a great education today on this whole re-entry program. Awesome. I appreciate you guys.
We also are auctioning off a day with the sheriff, too. I want to let you guys know.
Oh, that's a big one, you guys.
It comes a lunch picture. You get a ride along. You actually get it. If you haven't had the opportunity to visit the jail, you'll get a tour of that, too.
Okay.
Not everybody has been inside, and it's kind of exciting. So,
do we get to ride in the nice cab, or do we have to sit in the back where it's not cushioned?
Well, that's your choice.
The knees are really tight for a guy.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't want to get arrested.
It might not be a luxury experience there, Mariah Carey.
There's no leg room in the back.
So good. Well, thank you guys. Thanks so much for showing up today. I appreciate your time. Absolutely.
We'll see you at the Oak.
All right. Sounds good.
Appreciate it.